It is so hard to boil down my health journey in just a few minutes for a video. My vegan story is very complicated. It's not as straightforward, I was 30 pounds overweight, then watched Forks Over Knives, and now I've been vegan for a few years. I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of transformation, a lot of growth, a lot of undoing the conditioning in my head. I went vegan when I was 18. Before I was vegan, I was a completely different person. Obviously, I was different than I am now because I'm 12 years older, but health-wise, I was a different person. I did not feel good in my body. I had very low energy. I had no motivation to exercise. I was thin because I was young, but I wasn't fit. I didn't have the vitality that I have now. I was depressed, I was anxious, I was insecure about myself, and I had major digestive problems. I'd like to make a whole video just about my digestion and how I healed my digestion, but right now I'm doing more of like an overall vegan story video because now I am so full of life because I have never felt better in my entire life. This kind of hit me a few months ago. I'm 30 and I've never been fitter. My reason for going vegan when I was 18, it's a little shallow. I just wanted to be thin. My sister was going vegan and I'm gonna link her story below because she made a video as well about why she went vegan in her story. She went vegan, she told me about it, and I went vegan too. Back then, the word plant-based did not exist, but that's basically what we were because we were not ethical vegans at the time. I kept falling off the wagon, I didn't do my research, and I did not stay motivated, so I would drink a lot and then black out and wake up having eaten Carl's Jr. or some cheese at a party. Or I would make a sober decision to drive to a donut shop and get maple bars, and I kept failing, I kept falling off the wagon, I kept cheating because I wasn't doing it right. I felt slightly better than I did before because I was consuming far less animal products than I was before, and I was eating healthier, but I was, you know, drinking and not eating the best of foods. And I think this is because I was not, well, you know, there weren't a lot of good YouTube videos out there, so I couldn't watch a lot of what I ate in a day videos to get ideas or inspiration or motivation. I wasn't surrounded by other vegans, so I felt very isolated in a way. And I also didn't have any, you know, beginner vegan tip videos to watch, and I didn't realize what I was doing wrong. The way I was eating, let me just paint a little picture for you. Breakfast was sometimes a smoothie, but I thought one banana max, and my smoothies were like this big. Or I would have like rice crackers with jam or something. So I basically like eliminated the animal products, but I wasn't replacing them with nutrient-dense, high-carb foods. And so I will explain at the end of the video how I eat now and how it has helped me so much and given me so much vitality. When I was 22, after I graduated college, I got a job as an au pair. I actually made a video about my experience as an au pair. I'll link that below as well. And I decided not to be vegan for the time being. I was just vegetarian. Now, the reason I did this were for a couple reasons. One, I was in Italy, so I thought, hey, I'm in Italy, I should be able to eat mostly whatever I want. Two, I was not cool with eating meat. It felt a little strange. I did eat fish occasionally, but other meat didn't sit right with me. And I was living with a family, and so I did not want to put any more pressure on them to accommodate me or cater to me, because just being vegetarian but still eating fish was pretty wild for them. I was eating so much cheese and so much cream. I was in the north of Italy, that's where lots of cream-based things are. And all my old health problems came back. I gained about 10 pounds, which I know isn't a lot, but you know, when you're not used to a certain amount of weight and it comes back on, it does feel a little different. And my depression came back, my anxiety came back. I just wasn't feeling good. I had low energy and I had no motivation. The biggest thing that returned was my digestion. So like I said, I've had digestive problems my whole life. So if you are going through digestive problems, I just want you to know I feel for you. I have been through it all, trust me. I will have a very graphically described video coming up in the future, I promise. I was only in Italy for 3 months, and because I came back with all my old health problems and 10 pounds heavier, something really clicked for me. This whole plant-based thing has to be all in. I needed to be committed. So then I started to do my research, and I started doing things a little bit more correct, a little bit more enlightened, and just starting to live my life more aligned with the way that I wanted to live. I wanted to live with energy. I wanted to feel like I could wake up and take on the day and not like, oh my God, kill me now every morning. Around this time, so I was about like 23, 24, I started to learn about high carb veganism. What this is basically lots of fruit, lots of potatoes, rice, things that are high in carbohydrate and low in fat, so low in oil, low in nuts. And I actually experimented for a time with being high carb raw vegan, but I was getting a little obsessive with the diet, and it was a little all-consuming for me, and I don't think in the end it was as healthy for me as I have found my own diet now to be. But I do want to say during this time I was like recommitting my like curiosity and my research and understanding the plant-based diet again, as if like with fresh eyes. And during this time I was consuming so many YouTube videos about veganism. And the truth is that at that time I wasn't an ethical vegan at all. What this means is that I still bought leather, I still bought wool. I didn't understand why someone would protest. I didn't understand why someone would care if animals were killed, even though I was not consuming them. It took me years. I was eating a vegan diet for a very long time before I actually became an ethical vegan. There was an actual moment for me. I never saw Earthlings. I never saw a lot of the, you know, slaughterhouse footage. I've seen some, but it wasn't something like that for me. It was a very simple statement. I was watching a vegan YouTuber, and she just said, "And we don't want to hurt the cow, right?" And I don't know why that very simple, non-controversial statement clicked for me. I think it was because it was non-judgmental, and it was honest, and it felt like I could have said something like that, and it was not alienating, and it didn't push me away. And it made me realize that I too did not want to hurt the cow. And suddenly, in that instant, I said, oh my gosh, I'm a vegan now. And I don't remember if it was before I heard that statement or after, but within a few weeks of that video that I watched, which it wasn't even like about ethical veganism, it was probably about making a smoothie or something, I discovered this podcast by Colleen Patrick-Goudreau called the Food for Thought podcast. I have never met a more eloquent vegan. She helped me understand what ethical veganism was. She helped me find my own voice to speak up for the animals who aren't able to speak up for themselves. And she helped me understand my anger, because when I suddenly became an ethical vegan and found myself in this situation where, oh my God, everyone around me is paying for torture and murder of animals and innocent creatures, I did become really angry for a while. And her podcast helped me so much to release the judgment and find more peace in myself. And this is something I talk a lot about on my own channel, because my husband is not vegan, so how does that work? I have plenty of videos on that topic. I have a whole playlist on my channel. I just want to take some time to explain how I went from feeling depressed, yucky, and bloated and insecure about myself with massive digestive problems and with depression to now feeling basically free of depression. Please watch my video on depression to understand why I say basically. Full of life, great digestion, and feeling energized and fit and very confident in a swimsuit. How did this happen? Ever since I got back from Italy and recommitted, you know, myself to my own personal health and a plant-based diet, I stuck to it. Eat lots of fruit, eat high carb, do not eat oil, don't eat a lot of junk food, but if you do, don't worry about it. Go with the flow, relax, exercise every day, and get enough sleep, like basic health advice. I make tons of what I ate in a day videos, and for the most part I eat very, very simply and basic foods over and over. I eat lots and lots of fruit, but in the winter I'm not as drawn to fruit as it's winter right now. I'm really not very interested in fruit. The only fruit I've had today is a couple dates and a banana, and everything else has been cooked. But what I do is I keep it really high carb, and I do not cook with oil. If I consume oil, it's like maybe like my mom cooked it or something, or it's at a restaurant, but I try to consume as little as possible. Real quick note about oil. The reason I avoid oil is it is 100% fat. It's a refined food. If you're anti-sugar, you should be anti-oil as well. never restrict my calories. I eat until I'm literally satisfied. I don't eat like this small tiny portion. I eat until I'm full and I feel really good. When I do that, I'm able to stave off any of the cravings of any other bad foods. And also, I don't have guilt around my food. I never had an eating disorder, but I did restrict myself before I was vegan because I was never taught how to eat healthfully. Exercise has been key, but if I don't eat right, then I don't have the motivation or energy to exercise. It's all connected. For me, I love to sweat every day, either doing yoga or running or both. Sometimes I do both in one day, simply because I love it and I love to feel the movement and the sweat coming off of me, and it gets me into my body and out of my head. And I want to add that I do yoga daily. I'm going to link my video about how yoga changed my life because it is such an important part of my story. Meditation has been so huge. There are so many aspects to health and well-being besides just what's on your plate, but for so many people, that's where it starts. It's getting the animal products off your plate, focusing on the fruit, focusing on the potatoes, the high carb goodness, all the vegetables, all of the greens, as many greens as you can. That is what works for me, and all of the other stuff just seems to follow right after that. If I do that, if I start with the good food, the exercise comes naturally. The meditation, the sunshine, the journaling, the surrounding myself with people that I love, and the doing what I love every day, these are the things that bring me so much health and energy. Going vegan has completely changed my life. I would be a totally different person. I would be cynical, I would be depressed, I would probably wouldn't be able to hold down a job because I had such bad diarrhea. If you are vegan or plant-based and you're really struggling to stick with the diet, maybe you're falling off the wagon or cheating, my #1 tip is to do your research. I know it sounds hard. I know because I didn't do it. I was like plant-based for a long time before I ever cracked a book about veganism or read the China Study or watched Forks Over Knives or just a basic documentary. It took me a long time. I understand it can be overwhelming. There's so much to learn. But if you don't know why you're doing it, it's gonna be a lot harder when you're confronted with a choice that's either animal foods or no animal foods. Even if you believe, you know, well, I'm doing it because I love animals and I want to hurt animals, you have to know what it is that the animals are going through and to recognize that there are vegan versions of everything. So do you want to contribute to harm or do you want to contribute to peace? I am forever grateful to this diet for completely transforming my life. I just can't believe how different I feel. I can't believe that I'm not depressed. I can't believe that I can poop normally. I can't believe I have abs. I can't believe I have biceps and I can hold plank for God knows how long and I can run 17 miles and I can feel really good. I just never thought I would ever get here. And just remember guys, just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. It took me a long time to understand that. I could be eating French fries all day and I'd still be considered vegan because it's not animal products. Focus on the whole plant foods and you will feel awesome. Eat until you're satisfied and surround yourself with loving, life, high vibe people and you're gonna feel good. Watch the motivational videos, watch vegans online so you don't feel so alone. I know there's lots of lonely vegans out there. If that's you, I love you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.